Alright, let's see if this works or not. What's up everybody, Junior here, back making videos again with another album review. Marilyn Manson's new record, Heaven Upside Down. So if any of you have been following, it was originally supposed to be released on Valentine's Day of this year. That was going to be the only highlight of that day for me. 8 months later, and a whole bunch of Reddit conspiracy theories trying to figure out when it's going to be released. And now, October 6th, 2017, dropped it. Here it is. So I'm here to review the album for you guys. I'm kind of going to do it in a little bit of a different way. I'm going to give you guys kind of my general thoughts on the album. And overall, kind of a very basic, just here's what I thought. And then afterwards, I'm going to go a little more in detail and do kind of a track by track review. So for those of you who haven't heard the album yet and don't want me to spoil anything specific about the tracks, just watch the first half of the video. And if you've already heard it, or if you don't care, you can watch the rest of it. Let's get started. Overall, I really enjoyed the album. It was definitely well worth the wait. Manson comes back 2 years after The Pale Emperor was released to deliver an album with such a wide variety of styles and sounds. It has enough to satisfy even the most critical of Manson fans. And I'll get into the variety of sounds and stuff later, but what I'm gonna say is that the album's strength lies in the diversity of styles it has, as well as the stellar production it brings. There's an attention to detail in all of these songs when creating these massive soundscapes that kind of bounce around the headphones. I was never bored listening to the album. And on that note, this album is a lot more complex than its last few predecessors as well, where The Pale Emperor kind of found its strength in the stripped back, bare bones kind of blues rock feel. Heaven Upside Down seems to find its footing reveling in the dynamic and chaotic production that Marilyn Manson was known for back when he first started. And I'm not saying that this is really a throwback album, though some people have been kind of trying to pull each song out of the album and compare it and throw it like a dart into a specific era, like, oh, Tattooed in Reverse, it can go there, boom. Oh, Revelations number 12, it can go there, boom. I'm not saying that, but it does kind of bring back that classic kind of artistic chaos without sounding too pretentious of the various kind of unnerving sounds and production choices. Now some people might say that the diversity is actually a weakness of the album, since Marilyn Manson is very well known for kind of switching sounds and genres each album and then kind of sticking to something very specific and unique each time. Whereas some people might say that this one kind of goes all over the place. Even though there is a large variety of styles on the album, to me there does seem to be some kind of cohesive theme bonding all of the songs together. There's this kind of confidence, this swaggering aggression infused in every song, where it's almost like Marilyn Manson is saying, oh, you thought I fell off? Take this. There's a lot of really interesting and frenetic sound effects and production choices used on the record, where every time my attention would start to drift away, it would immediately be caught again by some weird vocal effect or mixing choice or sound effect or just something little ear candy is just hooking me back in to listen. It's addicting. It's like crack. This album's like crack. And honestly, I don't really have anything negative to say about the album. If there were a couple complaints, it would be that every once in a while, Manson does slip back into that kind of repetitive songwriting, lyrical style that he's been doing for the past few albums. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with repetition, but coming from a songwriting perspective, I kind of feel like if you use it too much, you kind of lose the potential to say so much more in the space where you're just kind of just saying the same thing over and over again. Like, I understand if you're trying to drive home a point, but if you repeat it 8 times in a row, just put something else there. I just feel like overusing repetition kind of drains the potential from a song to really say all that you want it to say. And I suppose I could complain about the brevity of the record. It's 10 songs long, clocking in at around 48 minutes, which is a decent amount of time, but not that long. Fortunate thing about that is that none of the songs feel like fillers. None of the songs feel like they were kind of just shoved in there to make a longer album. Every song is unique, has a purpose. So honestly, I can't really complain about it that much. Well produced, well written, overall, really, really good. And as I always do before Marilyn Manson releases a new record, I listen to his entire discography just to kind of, I don't know, get in the zone. And after kind of completing that journey, I am glad to say that this new record, Heaven Upside Down, does rank up there with some of the best. And to wrap up this kind of like general section of the video, I'm not going to say that Manson is back. because I don't think that he ever really left. But I am really excited for the direction that he's heading in. And if word on the street is to be believed, him and Trent Reznor are buddies again. So if him, Trent, Tyler Bate, and Twiggy all made an album, let's get into their track reviews. Lightning round. Let's go. Tracks. Revelation number 12. The mixing on the song is really well done. The lead guitar work is reminiscent of Antichrist Superstar, which got me super hyped for this song when I first started listening to it. Vocal effects are good. I'm glad that he's starting to do them again. I think that the song overall could have benefited greatly from a more energetic vocal performance. I know he can do it because he does it on other songs on this record, but it seemed like the delivery of the lines were more just of a shout as opposed to just the passionate guttural screams and just heart-wrenching wails. I know you can do it, just didn't come through on this song very well. And also, it may be a little thing, but there's this little interval during the chorus and it just annoys me for some reason. I don't know why. That's a tiny thing though. Overall though, this song is pretty hype, definitely a crowd pleaser. And the ending of the song was pretty cool too. I liked the kind of effect-heavy vocals. It did make me think of Moana though.
What can I say except...
which made it better. So after listening to Revelation number 12 and it kind of being a good song but a little underwhelming for the amount of hype people are giving it, at least to me, this next one just kicks you right in the face. Man, it's so good. It's got this attitude and swagger, this low down southern swing beat. If I was a UFC fighter, this might be my walkout song. It's lit, fam. It's got these crunching, hard hitting drums with this sharp lead guitar skittering over top. Very cool industrial and electronic elements to it. Some weird sound effects. Made me think I was going to be abducted by aliens. It had some dubstep elements in it, which surprisingly fit well. Who would have thought? And of course the lyrics, so catchy, so fun, so tongue-in-cheek. I just find myself just singing the chorus of the song, just humming it on the bus, when I'm working out, wherever. This song was definitely an album highlight for me. Sick! So this was the first single released for the album. It's a hard-hitting song leaning more towards the industrial side of the spectrum. It's got a deep, chugging guitar riff. Manson's screams on the chorus sounding fantastic, biting, hard-edged. Again, another really catchy chorus. 6-7 months in after Valentine's Day rolled around, when I was just desperate for anything about this album, I would watch the live videos of this song being performed, and it would just get me so hyped. It was so good live, and it is so good in the studio. A lot of people had a problem with the mixing when it initially dropped. I actually think the mixing's alright. It is a little messy in places, but I also think that it's partially messy by design. It's not supposed to be a pretty, shiny song, and the mixing reflects that well. If I had one thing to say about it though, it would be that I would have preferred that the vocals in some parts would come through a bit stronger. Sometimes they seem to fade away into the background a bit and kind of get covered up by the instrumentals. And I think for the chorus, you could have brought the vocals to the forefront a bit, especially during this part. See? Finally, we reached the fabled Satan. And I'm just gonna say, the production on this song, incredible. The first part of the song does a great job of building this eerie atmosphere, this kind of chilling, silent build up to something. And then you get these kind of grinding, ominous samples that kind of just shock me awake. Kicks the song right into gear. Chorus is catchy. The bridge is good, but he does that thing I was talking about earlier where he kind of just repeats the same phrase over and over again, which again is fine in some cases, but I feel like it was just kind of a lost opportunity to say more with this song. That's still my only complaint really, is that the bridge seems a little out of place with how repetitive it is. Especially with the verses and the songwriting in the verses being so good. Alright, Kill For Me, Disco-Goth Hate Pop. Marilyn Manson, I think, actually mentioned that this song was kind of riffing on the overused trope in pop music where people will say that I would die for you. And this song saying, well, would you kill for me? This was the second single release for the album. Songwriting, vocal delivery, both on point, grooving bass line, super catchy, supported by a slick guitar lead and some pretty funky synths during the chorus. This is a song that gets stuck in your head for sure. Lots of cool little effects, skittering synths, during the bridge, ear candy. Super fun to listen to, super catchy. Alright, Saturnalia, one of the songs that was a late addition to this album, clocking in at almost 8 minutes long. It is definitely a slow build, a slow burner. This song's all about atmosphere. It has these kind of haunting guitar licks, interesting kind of vocal layering and panning around. And every once in a while it does kick into more of a traditional rock and roll sound, especially with the chorus before kind of fading away into the sparse sonic wasteland again. And I don't mean sparse as in lacking, I just mean sparse as in it makes me feel like I'm kind of stranded in the desert in the middle of the night. Overall, it's pretty trippy. It's pretty diverse. The song is just spotted, sprinkled here and there with catchy grooves and melodies. Overall, this song is not a banger. It's not really a ballad either. It's a weird art song that has a lot of cool little catchy vocal hooks and guitar riffs. And the strength really lies in the variety of tones, moods, and vocal deliveries. Jesus Christ! Ah yes, this song of course. Jesus Crisis is the name of the song. And despite what a lot of people are saying, I actually enjoy this song quite a lot. It's a banger, that's for sure. Like Tattooed in Reverse, this song's got some serious attitude. Again, some interesting vocal effects, some panning, but what really makes the song, what really elevates it from a decent rock song to just a up here is kind of the breakdown and bridge of the song, where you think it's just going to continue in the standard way it has and then kind of just shudders to a halt, like a car breaking down, and you're sitting there like, what's happening? What's happening to my car? And all of a sudden, it explodes and you go to rock and roll heaven. The shouts too, the crowd shouts in the breakdown and at the end of the song, nice touch. I would love to see the song performed live. Blood Honey. Possibly my favorite song in the entire record. I don't know why, I don't really see a lot of people talking about it, but it's just, for some reason, I just am in love with this song. First of all, the keys in the beginning of the song immediately just hooked me in with this haunting, gothic feel. It's a sad, destructive, romantic ballad. Now that I'm talking about it, it seems obvious why I love this song. I am the ultimate edgelord. This is perfect for me. Manson's vocal performance, while being somewhat overlayered in places, comes off as very personal and vulnerable and passionate. This is a very sexy song. Slow groove, wailing lead guitar. Honestly, it's the perfect song for a romantic night. At least in my opinion. I just have to find a girl who agrees with me. And I probably don't need to say this, but of course don't take this as a literal love song, romantic song. It's not really about the healthiest relationship in the world, but it is a very good song. It is a very heart-achingly beautiful track. Alright, now we come to the titular Heaven Upside Down. Another vibe switch coming off of Blood Honey, a bit more of a classic rock kind of feel. And during certain parts of the song, there are these kind of smoky female vocals, and they actually accent his vocals quite well. It made me think that I wouldn't actually mind an entire Marilyn Manson duet with some female singer with a similar kind of vocal style. Imagine Marilyn Manson and Norah Jones did a song together. But besides that, honestly, this song isn't as catchy as I hoped it would be, it being the title track and all. After a few listens, it kind of does get stuck in your head, but for it being the namesake of the album, it's alright. It's pretty good. It's alright. Alright, now we come to Threats of Romance, the end of the album. Another great grooving intro. It was a little simplistic and repetitive for me, but that's honestly, it's a minor complaint. I can just chalk it up as being an aesthetic choice, and that's, I'm okay with that. Throughout the length of the song, there's this kind of cool piano riff being played, and I can't figure out what it reminds me of. Super old classic rock, like 50s kinda, or maybe like something jazzy, but I might be completely wrong. Let me know where you think it's from. Maybe kind of throwing it back to the vaudeville stuff that he did on, Golden Age, but that's besides the point. Glitzy lead guitars pull through for a really great glam feel. This phrase, I like you, damn it! Throwback lyric to High End of Low, but very, very well utilized here. Overall, it's a very good, hard-hitting romantic song. And that's it for the kind of track-by-track reviews. Hopefully you enjoyed it. This video's probably gone on way too long, and you're probably sick of me already. You've already heard everything I had to say. And again, I just want to reiterate, this is such a good album. Just the diversity of sounds and the changing of genres again. Bringing back in the old while still creating something new. I don't know. I'm really excited for what he does next. I'm really excited for this album. I'm going to keep listening to it on repeat for quite a while. And if I had to give this album a rating, I guess I would say 10. Out of 11.5. 10 Smiling Brians out of 11.5 Smiling Brians. That's just how the math works. I just wanted to use that joke.